I also spoke with Rajya Sabha MP and senior leader of the Trinamool Congress, O-Brien, earlier today. I started by asking him about the government's defence of demonetization. Remember, the finance minister yesterday said that the tax collection claims quell the fact that the economy has stalled. Here's Derek's response.
See, government released some numbers yesterday, but Shereen, if I can give you some other numbers, I can carry on for the next 10 minutes and only give you numbers. Have the government visited any of the 21,000? Do they know what's going on in the 21,000 unorganized mandis across the country? Do they know what's going on in the 38 million small and medium businesses, 38.5 million of those, what's going on? Are they keeping track of the hundreds of thousands of migrant laborers who are moving? So this government who started off on 8th of November saying that this is to fight terrorism, then they went to black money, then they went to corruption, now they went to digital, now they've come to some numbers. This is all spin doctoring. Spin doctoring is not going to work. The situation is grim, and the situation on the ground is grim. So these numbers which the finance minister gave, I think they themselves know that this is not the reality.
Derek, you're saying the situation on the ground is grim. You're also saying that the government is not really giving a realistic picture by putting out those tax collection numbers. Your chief minister has demanded that the prime minister resign. Granted that there has been trouble, but to ask for the resignation of the prime minister, isn't that going a tad too far?
He's come out with the world's biggest economic laboratory, the economic lab test, on 1.3 billion people, minus 100 people, and it has failed miserably. It has failed miserably. So if he decides he ought to take responsibility for this, and he needs to quit. We're not asking anybody else to quit. The Prime Minister needs to quit.
The jury is still out on whether this is a success or a failure. All we have is assumptions from one side and the other. But Derek, isn't there some exaggerations to the claims that you make as well? Take the GST, for example. The West Bengal finance minister says that the compensations to states could jump from 55,000 crores, which is the current estimate, to almost 90,000 crore rupees. Other states don't seem to agree necessarily with that calculation. So is there not some exaggeration in the claims that you're making?
Okay, now am I exaggerating these numbers? I'll give you 5 numbers. You stop me whenever I'm exaggerating a number. You say, Derek, you're exaggerating a number, okay? I'll give you 5 numbers. 4 out of 5 villages in India don't have a bank. Second number, 95% or 95% of debit cards they use in India only to withdraw money. They are not used for any transaction. Am I exaggerating numbers? 1 minute. You come to FMCG. You please ask the FMCG companies, those Kirana stores they go to, how many percent of Kirana stores are cashless? Number 3, you come to POS. You come to the POS outlets. 1.2 million out of 15 million outlets here, 10% only have POS. What? Am I exaggerating these numbers? GDP. I'll go back to GDP. I will say in that 10-day period between the 10th of November to the 20th of November, I said this in Parliament, I'll say this again on your channel, I say 45,000 crores of GDP a day, out of which about 50% of that is for domestic consumption, 80% of that is cash consumption, so my number comes to about 25,000 crores a day. You take 10 days also, that's 250,000 crores. What are we talking about? These are the numbers. I'm not exaggerating numbers. However, what the government is doing is every 2 days, 3 days, they know it's not working. Why doesn't the Prime Minister say, listen, I've come up with this harebrained idea. It didn't work in the 1940s. It didn't work in the 1970s. I took a chance and I've done this, and now I quit. End of story.
Well, there's no question of the government acknowledging that this is something that's not working, Derek. Demonetization is now irreversible. But, this is 2016. We're at the end of 2016. Big ticket announcements are now expected from the budget. There are expectations that the government would like to reward the salaried class for showing resilience through this period. What do you believe 2017 has in store for us?
Well, it's certainly anything which happens in 2017 is going to be better than what happened in the last 1 month in 2016. That's for certain.